but just picking a little at a time and kind of tabbing it and being like, I'm going to try that, I'm going to try that. You'll see the way I do transitions today.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
If you don't know who Dr. Jean is and you teach a younger grade, you need to like Google her. She's this really annoying Southern woman, but she has these like songs that she does, and All Day Long by Dr. Jean, which I'm still going to give you because you're going to come over to my house and get all my music. And like if you have strong transitions, and you'll see from my transitions, I never say, come to the right, come on, or I never say, line up, or I never say, it's time for lunch. It's all like, I turn on the song and the kids just go and they know what to do. It was the best change I ever made in my classroom. Put all my music on my old iPhone, so it's like an iPod. And you'll see like the transitions are super strong because of the music. If you've not read this book is amazing. Do you have this? So this like changed the way I do my read alouds. It is amazing. I have an extra copy that I'm going to give away to Logan. But so like with Open Court, it was all like, okay, read this story, do a comprehension strategy, maybe read it again, maybe read it again. And with our scope and sequence, I'm on the TK advisory board, so we figured out our scope and sequence for next year for TK, and we're going to be reading a story 3 to 5 days in a row. And you'll see when I do my read aloud with Goldilocks today and with Pete the Cat, we've been reading them for 4 weeks, and it's all call and response. The kids know what's coming next, and the best thing about this book is it talks about really good children's books. And when we had to do Open Court, we were not using really good children's books. And you would have your kindergartners on the floor through some culturally irrelevant, boring story that you had to read over and over and over, and the kids are like so disengaged. And now that I get to choose the books I want to read for my read alouds, it's off the hook. The kids are like, you know, the whole time. So the shelf, when you look around later,
if you're done with your coloring, you haven't finished.
Are all my like horror books that I use all year. Anything Pete the Cat. Did you order your Pete the Cat?
I only have the digital one.
So even for, especially first and second.
Curious George, first day of something.
Oh yeah, first day of school. So we did these with our second grade buddies last year, and the second graders love them just so much. There's I love my white shoes.
Marcus, why is this taking you so long?
They don't get to touch those books. These are my my Bibles. Like, I don't want the pages ripped. So hey Kamaya, 4 groovy buttons. And then the other one is wrapped in my school shoes. This is good for even first and second in the year because it goes through the school and shows different parts of the school, the cafeteria, the library, the playground. And it's all call and response, it's all singing. They love it. So even about 4th grade.
Well, no, I didn't take sports, so I have upper grade. But I like to sing.
Hi. What's up? How you doing? Something like that. It's worth it. I mean, they get ruined, and you definitely have to wash them. But, you know, like, especially first day of school, someone who's really upset, oh, you need to hold Pete the Cat, you know, they're great. The Pete the Cat are awesome. Good morning. Are we almost ready to start workshop? Maybe we should play a game.
Say that again. Say that one more time.
You need to teach your rug rules early on and be very strict about it. You need to be so strict in the beginning about your transitions. Like my first day of school, they go to the rug, they go to their desks, they go to the rug, they go to their desks. A
lot of repetition.
Like little Fabian, who was sitting like this every day, going up to him and showing him, no, crisscross, applesauce, where we hold our hands, and doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and like getting in line. You have the kids that are scraggling. Even now, like walking to lunch sometimes, they'll like get out of line, and I'm like, okay, no, go back. We're gonna go back and we're gonna do it all over again. Because if you're really strong with that stuff in the beginning and with 4th grade, it's like great all year. But if you let it go in the beginning, like we have teachers, we had some last year, she was teaching 2nd grade and her class was a wreck. And I'm like, you have to be stricter. And she's like, I know. And she would go home crying every day because she didn't like do that stuff in the beginning where these are my expectations for my classroom and this is what you're going to do. And if you don't do it, there will be a logical consequence. The other bad thing I see all the time is I'll be going to prep and I'll walk by our other kindergarten room and they're on the rug, right? I'm in the office for like 40 minutes and I come back, they're still on the rug. No. Like 5-year-olds, 10 minutes. That's why I do mini lessons. This is like especially for me so that I know what order I'm teaching things in, but I'm going to hit all these things. I can start with patterns and end with my exercise in 10 minutes. And this follows during the normal school year what's up on my learning wall. So I know, like, first I'm going to do patterns, then I'm going to do weather, calendar, today, yesterday, tomorrow, days of the week. And this, it's more for me, because they don't know how to read this, to know what order I go in. And, like, let's say they're totally disengaged, I stop, I know, okay, I stopped on colors, when I come back I have to do shapes. This is, like, the best thing I ever did.
So you want to go in order. You don't want
I
to just
do.
like go random.
And during the school year, these
Dana?
letters will correlate with my wall.
Dana, did you create that yourself, or did that come as a system?
Stephen Davis, the best kindergarten teacher ever.
Stephen Davis?
So this would be like A, B, C, D, and it would all follow the letters.
Is the name of
There's a
the...
picture of this in that packet that I gave you.
Thank you.
Oh
Yeah, he did a kindergarten session 2 years ago at the Oakland. Like they used to have every year for teachers, PDs, like in May or April or something. And he gave these to us. He sent them to us, and they're awesome. He was the one too that turned me on to the like the oldies songs for transitions, like the Munsters and Addams Family and all that stuff.
So
like, he's amazing. He used to teach at Global, and now he's up in the hills somewhere.
if you go to Rick Morris, New Management, he also will give you the songs for transitions for the older children. Same, some the Munsters and stuff like that. So
I'm going to do it right now with one of my transition songs, and you'll see how I don't say anything, how they just know. Oh, and also I really want you to look for what they do with their chairs, what they do with their pencils, what they do with their crayons.
And this is week 4.
Yes. Remember, these kids have never been in school before, ever. This class looks way different than a normal TK that we're teaching would look like, because, I mean, next year I know I already have 12 that have been in preschool. In this class there are 2. These kids had never been in school. So this 4th week isn't what I would like it to look like, but for as far as they come from where they were when they got here, it's all right.
And how long is the program for?
8:30 to 12:30.
I mean, like how many weeks?
4.
4 weeks.
2 more days. To do, because we're gonna play this game. This is a great game for even first whatever for the first day of school or first week. Circle song. Circle, circle. Good, you guys did the circle fast. Awesome. All right, sit down. What's his name? Everybody say, hey, Fabian.
Hi, Fabian.
He or she? He. Him or her? Him. You guys are awesome. What's his name? Say hey to Marcus.
Hey, Marcus.
He or she?
He.
Him or her? Him.
Him.
It's hot! Pass it, hurry! Say hey, Kamaya!
Hey, Kamaya.
Kamaya. He or she? He, him or her? I do the pronouns because our ELLs have a really hard time with pronouns.
Alexandra.
He or she? She.
She.
Him or her?
Her. Come on, it's not.
What's her name? What's her name?
What's her name?
Tiana. He or she? Him or her?
She.
Her. Come on. No. Kindergarten should be like workshop all the time. So they'll know what the center card means. They'll come up, they'll look at their team color, and they'll look at where they're going, and they go there.
So you're not yelling it out.
Oh, I don't yell anything out, ever. Because otherwise I have to go home and like, I can't talk. Also, you'll see, beginning of the year, centers, 5-8 minutes max. It's really hard with a small group like this. I can only have 3 groups. Regular school year, 4 kids in each group, because I have 24. And I have 6 groups, 6 rotations. I do a rotation first thing in the morning, after first recess, and then finish it in the afternoon if I have to. By the end of the year, you can have a go to first, go to second, and they just do it. What does this one mean? Really? I'm going to wait for you to put that back. Thank you. What is this one? And today we're doing this one, but you might not remember because we've only done it a couple times. Sorting center. You're going to go to the sorting center, and Mr. Ramos is going to help you, and you're going to sort by color. Say, I can sort by color.
I can sort by color.
All right, ready? Orange team.
Windows.
Where are you guys going?
Windows.
Legos are on the train table. Blue table. Where are you going, blue team? I'm going to come get you some puzzles. Green team, where are you going? Mr. Ramos.
Mr. Ramos.
Red, come on, I'm going to show you who you're going to go with.
Okay.
Or I'm going to
Can I have this one, please? Oh, no, I want to make sure that you got all 4 different colors.
It gets all the kids from 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade that the teachers kick out and put in the office. And those kids come in here and I'm like, go do a puzzle. And they get frustrated and they can't do it. And my 5-year-olds go over and do the puzzles. And puzzles are spatial intelligence. They make the brains grow. And by doing puzzles, we're setting them up for like high academics for the rest. Oh, what's wrong with you? Down my room for summer, so like my room does not usually look like this. And no matter where you are in OUSD, you're gonna have to take everything off the shelves and stack it so they can clean. So I had to take everything down from the lights and everything. So like all around my room, these are my center signs, and like no matter where you go, it would have like what we're doing in our Play-Doh center. And then these great cards. Did you get these yet? I'm going to get them for you. So when your principal comes in the room and your kids are doing Play-Doh, oh, they're just playing with Play-Doh. Well, they're learning to pinch, grasp, squeeze, twist, roll. All these things that are going to help them handle a pencil. Like for...
Where do you get your Play-Doh cards from?
My Play-Doh from?
The Play-Doh cards. I mean, the cards that you're using for, this is what it's good for.
From
Yes.
TK, I don't remember where, but I have them somewhere.
Is it Lakeshore?
You got them at Lakeshore?
But the TK people gave them to us, like a whole stack of them.
But they probably came
Also
from
during the
Lakeshore.
school year, I had to take everything down. Like every table right above it has a card. So like blue table has, this table would have this hanging right above it. I have a clothesline that goes across. So they always know that they're blue team. Where they are for their team is where they sit on the rug. So if you sit at blue table, you sit on the blue row. If you sit at orange table, this would be above the orange basket, and you sit on orange on the rug. Also all around my room is like this would be hanging above blocks. And on the side of the block thing, see I have like what they're doing too. What we're doing in our block center. So they come in and they're like, why are they just playing with blocks? Well, they're not. They're using fine motor skills. They're developing gross motor muscles. They're classifying by shapes. This is always in the library with this, and they would be hanging down.
So these are ABCT.
abcteach.com.
Like my writing center is always right here. So I would have this over there, what they're doing at writing center, and this would be hanging above the table.
Let me have one of the. Let me just have the writing center for a second.
The Play-Doh one's good. But I had to take all these down because when they cleaned this year, they wanted all the clotheslines down. So you saw what it looked like before. Like red table, the house area. They're not just like in the house playing. They're cooperating with others. They're using language skills. They're verbalizing their ideas, understanding emotions. These are great. And this would be also over in the home corner, like hanging down. For TK, and I think for K2, you should have your areas really labeled. Like this is the house area. That's the block area. That's the reading center. That's the writing center. That's the Play-Doh center. Just science center. I'd have this over there with all my science stuff. And then they also have these positive description acknowledgements. So this comes from the teaching pyramid, which you're going to do next year. Right? The teaching pyramid is awesome. It's a preschool program that was adapted for TKK and first. And like not saying don't do that, but saying instead like, oh, you're being so safe with playing with those toys gently. Or, you know, someone's throwing something, like you, instead of saying don't throw, you try to say something more positive. So I have these hanging in all my centers too, just so I like can look at them and remember what to say. And I think another really important thing, like when you close down your classroom and when you get ready, is to try to be as organized as possible. Like I have this label, like my signs and labels, because I don't want to come back in August and be like, oh, crap, where did I put all those? And not be able to find them. So I'm like super organized, sometimes a little too organized, but it helps a lot when you go to set things back up. So I'm going to show you how they switch in like 3 minutes, and then I'm going to take you for a walk and show you all my different centers. And most of the centers that I'm going to show you are on the Bible. So like 3 summers ago, I got like a case here and printed and cut and laminated and printed and cut and laminated and printed and cut and laminated and made like a lot of centers. Went to Lakeshore like 3 days in a row and laminated like huge amounts of stuff, because when you're teaching K or 1 or TK, you want everything to be cute. It has to be engaging. And I've seen some K teachers, they give the kids like a boring worksheet and the kids are just like, but if it's like cute and engaging, they like it. So everything that I have goes with themes. So these are pretty universal for kindergarten. Like, and I created my own. I looked at the kindergarten themes, and then I looked at what I wanted them to do for TK, and I hit all the themes. So in the beginning of the year in August, like the centers would have to do with school, anything school related. In September and October, you start getting into fall, colors, 5 senses. It just goes all the way through. So like in February, my centers are going to have like hearts on them. You know, in December, they're going to be like winter-based things. In October, I have a bunch of like pumpkin stuff. Like,
Let's keep it all right in there.
put on here, like with a pumpkin. And then they just take the marker and they trace the letters, and then they get to erase. And for some reason, kids love to use those wipe-away markers. So, you know, they're practicing writing their letters, but they're not, because it's still cute. And they're like, oh, it's a pumpkin. So it keeps them engaged instead of it just being like some paper, you know.
Let's put all the green buttons in here.
This is like report card comments. I know a lot of people struggle on like, what do I write in the comment section? Those are my report card comments for kindergarten, not for TK.
Does TK have report cards?
We had to do the DRD PSR last year, and now we're creating a different report card, the advisory committee. So we're trying to make it easier and better. A TK writing rubric where you can go through with the kids, and this could totally be adapted for 1st grade, 2nd grade, or 4th grade.
Let's see, Kevin.
Behavior plans, like sometimes your principal will make you turn in a plan what you're going to do. With my kid, this was my first year. I don't really like follow a behavior thing now. Like if you do something you annoy me, you're gonna be on the bench. Like if you hit someone, you're done. You're on the bench. That's it. And you're on the bench at recess. That's all I do.
The entire recess, or is it by?
No, like for however old they are, it should be that many minutes. You're always gonna have that really difficult child. This was my sweet little guy who got kicked out of kindergarten, and so they were like, put him in Miss D's class. But I still had to have a behavior plan. So any difficult kid, even in 4th grade, having something like this where you can check in with them every hour. Like every hour. How you doing? You got a smiley face. I hope you get another smiley face, and give them an incentive, like maybe a sticker at the end of the day or something. This is like last resort too.
Would that work for a child with ADHD or autism?
Definitely. Especially with autism, you would want to have schedule cards, and you would want to have what they're going to do throughout the day. So the same every day. If it's not the same, your autistic kid is going to freak out. And pictures for them are great.
Because the aide had like a rubric of like the different tasks she wanted him to complete every day, and then at the end he would get the iPad for like 10-15 minutes or something.
Totally.
But she would go over with him like, oh, you did this, good job, let's try going on to the next task. But it was the same every day.
Right, and they need that positive reinforcement, especially your difficult ones. Like I always send home a letter at the beginning of the year just to introduce who I am, what the class is going to be like. It creates relationships with your parents and makes you not such a stranger. So that's in there, and like the way the classroom runs. Snacks, breakfast, backpacks, school supplies. And then I always send home a questionnaire. There's 2 different ones here, and there's one in Spanish too. Because you want to have your emergency contacts. You want to know who can pick up the kid and who can't, especially TKK and when. And like allergies, if they went to preschool, stuff like that. If there's coats and backpacks on the floor, they need to come pick them up and hang them up. By the 3rd week of school, their backpacks on the floor, it goes in the recycle box. I had a little, for real, like I ain't playing with that. I had a little girl last year, I would pick up her coat all over my classroom. I would pick up her hat all over. And then Dad would get mad, she lost her coat again. Like, I am not the coat police. When you come to me, where's my child's coat? I'm gonna go like that and point over there, and that's it. Because I cannot keep track of 24 coats. If it's on the floor, they know to hang it up on the hook. If it's on the floor, I say, oh, I found a coat on the floor. It's going in the recycle. And that kid comes over and gets it. I know it seems mean, but it works. Because I've walked in classrooms where the teachers aren't strict about it. Like when I come in here for after school program, I freak out. Because there's coats and backpacks all over the floor. And that's how people trip, fall, and get hurt. And you're also teaching them responsibility. That's what we do with our coat. It gets hung up. So by like the middle of the year, Janika's coat's on the floor again. Here it goes in the recycle. And you do that to them twice, they're going to make sure it makes it on the hook every single time. Just like little things like that for the way your classroom runs, that if you're not strict from the way beginning, it's going to be a mess. Like, especially with the chairs out. Like, I do this whole thing with the chairs out at the beginning. We're like, look what happens if we leave our chair out. Ah! And like, I fake fall over and they all laugh and think it's funny. But see how when they got to go, they all punch in their chair? That's from doing it over and over and over and over. Oh, somebody's chair's out, and I do my little like skit.
Any other card?
So you guys want to see some singers?
Okay.